Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and thanks for joining me on this beautiful Sunday morning. Today I've got the Nixon Ripley Ana-Digi 100 meter quartz, and this is in like their gunmetal colorway. This is model number A1267-131-00. Now I reviewed a Nixon watch, I guess a couple years ago. I reviewed the Regulus and I like that. I mean, it's no G-Shock killer, but I did like that watch a lot. So let's check this one out too. All right, guys, you know the deal. Make sure you check out my Amazon shopping channel if you like this or any of the other watches I've reviewed on my channel. As y'all know, I get a very small commission if you buy from my Amazon store, so I definitely appreciate it, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, this is like normal Nixon watch packaging. So you have an outer sleeve here. Then you have this unfolding like accordion type of thing. So it unfolds, it unfolds. You get all this stuff here. Nixon, ready, set, go. Let's take on the world. And some sort of recycling thing down there. So that opens up and you have a little piece of paper that just says Nixon on it. There you go. Looks like you can check out their social media, yada, yada, yada. A little piece of foam. There you go. And then here is the watch. Really cool looking watch, guys. And that's really honestly why I wanted to review this thing, because I loved the look of it. Not necessarily for, for the features or the build quality or anything like that. I just thought it looked really cool. And it's got a little parlor trick here in just a second. All right, so you open this up and you get a manual down here written in, I guess, at least 10 different languages. This watch isn't too complicated. It's pretty easy. It's really intuitive actually to operate this watch. So you really don't need to, open this up. You might want to, but you really don't need to. All right, so let's get all this stuff out of the way. Let's take a look at this thing. And when I was looking for another watch to review, I was like, you know what? I saw this and I don't remember how I saw it. I just saw it. I was like, man, that actually reminds me of a watch you would actually see on the movie Aliens. Ripley is the main character in those Aliens movies. And it just looks like a, like a futuristic type of watch. All right, so let's go ahead and close all this stuff back up. All right, we put this over here. And as usual, I'll give you all the 7 specs you need to know, then we'll talk more in depth about the watch. Obviously the crown's on the at the 9 o'clock position, which is a little different. It keeps it from kind of, digging into your wrist when you flex your wrist like that. Which is kind of nice. Let me actually take it off the pillow here. I will tell you right up front, this watch is a little small for me. For those of you that are wondering, if you have an 8-inch or bigger wrist, this is not gonna fit you. Guys that rock like 7 to 7.5 inch wrists, that'll be perfect for this watch because you'll have a couple extra adjustment holes on the strap that you can use. But this one, as it is right now, is just a little too small for me. I'm at the very end. I'm literally like right there. So it's just not comfortable. I feel like the watch might possibly fall off, even though I know it's not going to. It just, I like to have an extra like 1.5 or 2 inches of strap. So it's just a little too small for me on my 8-inch wrist. So kind of keep that in mind if you're looking at this thing. Let me wipe off the dial real quick. All right, there we go. Now, when I was first looking at it, the dial kind of reminded me of like a solar panel. So I thought, maybe is this thing actually solar powered? But it's not. It's not solar powered. And the parlor trick is, boom, look at that. Pretty cool. And this is actually for a negative display. This is actually very, very legible. I don't think you would even really call this a negative display in a way, because it is so positive, for lack of a better word. It's incredibly easy to read. Now it does have an angle, so when you're wearing your watch on the wrist, it's probably tilted 5 or 10 degrees, and that's when the display is perfect. I mean, now so far as laterally goes, it does disappear a little bit. If you go more than about 5 or 10 degrees, especially if you're tilting the watch down towards you, it might be a little bit harder to read. But as you can see, if you keep tilting it up, you probably have a good 10 or 15 degrees of visibility on that negative display. Again, guys, I'm not even sure this is really a negative display watch, man. I don't really think it is. I mean, I guess it is, but yeah, I guess it is. It's incredibly legible, which is really cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at all the different specs, at least the 7 specs that you need to know. I'll put the rest of the stuff down there in the description field for you. Like, you know, it weighs, what is it, I think 77 grams. You've got an electroluminescent backlight. You got an altimeter, temperature, dual chronograph, dual time, and alarm. Anyway, check all those specs down there in the description field. So you're looking at a 47 millimeter polycarbonate case with a stainless steel top. Right there, you can see the demarcation line. There's your stainless steel top right there, kind of like your capper on your case. You know, just give a little bit of extra toughness. If you're banging into something, that would be nice. It's 16.5 millimeters thick. It's 51 millimeters lug to lug. It has a 23 millimeter thermoplastic polyurethane strap. The strap is really beefy and chunky and thick. It is water resistant to 100 meters, which is 330 feet. They were really vague about the Miyota movement that's inside. I have no idea what module this is, but it is a Miyota Ana-Digi module inside this this watch. I guess battery life 2 to 3 years, depending on how much you use it. And of course, you get a mineral crystal instead of a sapphire. The bezel, again, that's on top of the stainless steel kind of cap on the case. The bezel's, you know, it's fixed. Obviously, it doesn't move around or anything. Non-screwdown crown. You do have some crown guards. It's kind of, you know, recessed into the case. Got these big pushers on here. And I really, again, I like the look of this watch. I just think it's a fantastic looking watch. And you do get some decent functionality with this thing. It's very legible, as you can see, whether you have the digital display on or off. Now, when you turn it off, it's called city mode, where it's just showing the analog portion of it. Then when you turn it on, that's called adventure mode. So you're going into adventure mode. But it's really cool. I mean, I just love the combination. I love the design. I love the colorway. I just think it's a really cool looking watch. Again, it reminds me of the movie Aliens. I don't know why, it just does. I guess maybe because of that gray and lime green kind of colorway. I just think it's a really, really cool looking watch. Really cool looking watch. It almost feels like a G-Shock, guys. It's kind of got the heft and the build quality that kind of remind me of kind of an upper level G-Shock, to tell you the truth. Now, obviously, is it going to be as tough as a G-Shock? I doubt it. Even though they say on their website, this is a shock resistant module and case, which is nice. That's good to know. Only being waterproof to 100 meters. They could maybe done a little bit better with that. But I think, it looks pretty good. And I think it'll be a pretty tough watch. So far as the lume goes, there is no lume anywhere on this watch. It's got an electroluminescent backlight, but none of the indexes, the hands, nothing is lumed on the dial for this thing. You have to rely on that electroluminescent backlight to light that dial up. Not a big deal because obviously the analog hands are that bright kind of like shocking green. And then the digital display is really crisp and clear and extremely easy to read. I was really impressed, man. Really, really cool. Now, so far as the case goes, you got a knurled crown right there. You got the Nixon logo right there on the crown. It is not screw down. It's just a pop in, pop out. You got these big pushers here. Again, there is your stainless steel cap on the, was it polycarbonate case, I believe? Yeah, polycarbonate case. There you go. On the other side, same thing. You can see these little holes. These holes are drilled for, I'm sure, the altimeter and the thermometer. It does have a thermometer function. Even though thermometers on any watch are not very accurate because they're basically kind of, drawing the heat. They're drawing their temperature from the heat of your wrist. So you really need to take this watch out for about 15 minutes to get an accurate temperature display, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a thermometer on your watch because you don't want to have to take your watch off. But again, if you want an accurate temperature, you really need to take this off for about 15 minutes so it can kind of, acclimatize itself. Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't think that's the word I'm looking for. Acclimate itself to just the ambient air temperature instead of kind of getting the heat from your wrist through the case, and it'll kind of mess up that temperature sensor. So kind of keep that in mind. Again, I'm just really impressed. I think because that stainless steel topper, that cap kind of gives it some heft. I mean, it feels really well built, man. Let's go ahead and undo the strap here. Now, one thing about this has got like a locking strap and keeper. So obviously this little I guess, little ridge right here locks into the keeper. And I can see where that might be a pain in the butt sometimes to get this thing off, because when this thing locks, it really does lock. You just slide it in there, and you can see it's kind of a pain sometimes to get on. You just slide it in, and then you push it down, and then it locks inside of that keeper. So it really stays on your wrist, which is good, but getting it off, I can see where that, as you can see, I can see where that might be a little bit of a pain in the butt. Big stainless steel buckle on this thing. Huge stainless steel buckle. Let me get it off. There you go. It's Nixon branded. Say anything underneath, I'm sure it says stainless steel. Yep, stainless steel. I think this has something to do with recycling right there, I believe. There's your case back. Nixon Seek and Enjoy the Ripley. And it tells you what each one of your pushers does on the case back. Screw in case back, not a screw down case back. And this strap, guys, this strap is really beefy and really thick. It's going to take some time for it to wear in. But I mean, it's pretty soft, which is nice. But it's probably going to take a little bit of time to still wear in even more. And again, this keeper with that little notch, man, it's kind of a pain to take the watch on and off. So let me just go over the basic functions for you here real quick. Again, I'm not going to try it on just because honestly, guys, it's kind of a pain in the butt to get this thing on and off. So let's go back out of, let's go into city mode. There you go. So there's your city mode. All right. Let me wipe the watch off again here real quick. There we go. So you turn it on. All right. And then you go in to see it says Saturday the 27th. I always record these videos on Saturdays, guys, by the way. And then you see it right there, the time. That is actually the second time zone. So I think this button, yep, there you go. So it's 5:55 in the evening on Saturday. Now you can set this up to another time zone and just click this button up here. And I've got it set to LA time, which is 3 hours behind us here on the East Coast. So click that. And here you go. Here is your altimeter right up there. So we're currently at 354 feet. It's currently 75 degrees, which is not actually accurate. It's about 72 degrees in my house. Now, I think this was meant to be a timer, and they say on their website this has a timer, but this just looks like a chronograph function to me. I can't go in here and set it to like a 10 or 15 minute or a 30-minute timer where it counts down. It's just another chronograph. Go like that, it just counts up. Press it again, stop it, press and hold, resets it. There you go. And here is your actual dual chronograph. So you go up here, start, stop. Start, stop. So you can have dueling chronographs there. Again, press and hold to reset. I think I got to do it now. Yeah, you got to stop it first, then press and hold to reset it. There you go. Stop, press and hold, reset. There you go. And there you have just a single alarm. Now to turn the alarm on and off, you press and hold the bottom right-hand button. You'll see the little Nixon logo pop up. There you go. That's how you turn on your alarm. Press and hold, it turns it off. And then it goes back into city mode. So there you go, man. I mean, it's pretty cool that you can do that, which is nice. I mean, I like the extra functionality of the thermometer, even though, again, it's not super accurate. It's going to be off by, I don't know, as much as like 10 degrees if you're outside in the summer. But average is off about 5 degrees on average. Now, the analog and the digital displays, they're not synced like in a lot of G-Shock watches and Seikos and Citizens. They are really independent, so they're not super accurate so far as being synced up. And let me show you. So if you notice, actually, maybe we can come back to that a little bit. It's saying 5:58. This is off by a couple seconds. I tried and tried to get these things synced up exactly. It's just really hard to do, to get it where, you know, when the second hand goes up to 12 o'clock, the second hand and the minute hand and the digital display all, you know, flip over to the exact same time, or they change the time at the exact same time. Guys, it was next to impossible to do. You can see it coming up here in just a second as we round the 45-second mark. And if you notice, everything is off alignment just a tiny bit. It's funny because sometimes the second hand hits the markers about halfway around, then it starts being off just a little bit. See, watch the time. Let's see if it does it now. So yeah, that was about a second early that it switched over to 559. So again, I'm sure you can do it. It's just going to be a little bit difficult because this it looks like this module is not meant to sync up like that, like you have with G-Shocks and a lot of Seikos and Citizen watches. So kind of keep that in mind. Is it a big deal to me? Not a big deal at all. I don't need that precision where everything is completely synced up like that. Not a big deal to me. So again, I will go ahead and try this thing on, but it's just a little bit small for me, guys. But I absolutely love the look of this watch. I love the heft of this watch. I just think it's a really cool looking watch. And the fact that you can cut off the display if you want to save on your battery. And I think if you leave it in one of these modes for more than 12 hours, it automatically cuts that display off to save your battery. Again, battery life, I'm guessing 2 to 3 years, depending on how much you use the watch, how much you activate that electroluminescent backlight, by the way. In fact, let's go ahead and kill the studio light. Let's kill this monitor. And let me show you this. All right, so there you go. Let's go ahead and turn it on. So you can see in the dark, it is pretty dark. Let's go ahead and do the light. There you go. I thought the light was actually going to be like a green. It's actually like a blue. And see how it kind of fades in and fades out? Now you can't make it like, like on a G-Shock, like 1 to 3 seconds or 2 to 4 seconds. It just is what it is. So what is that? I don't know. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000. Yep, so you're looking at 3 seconds for the backlight. And even in the dark, you can still see the display just a little bit, which is not too bad. Pretty cool. I mean, it's a decent backlight. I mean, I'm looking at it off camera here, and it's actually not doing a bad job. Again, it's not super bright. That's one thing I'm noticing. The camera's picking it up a lot better than my naked eye is. It's not super bright, but I can still definitely tell what time it is. So something to keep in mind. But guys, my main things that I like about this watch, build quality, it does feel very well built. It feels like a tank, man. Again, it kind of feels like a G-Shock. I love the actual colorway. This is called gunmetal. It comes in multiple different colors. Let me go ahead and cut everything back on here real quick. It comes in multiple different colors. Let me tell you the other colorways that it comes in when I get my monitor back up here. So it comes in a black, red, olive, silver, and saffron. Saffron is kind of like a yellowish orange color. I think that's their newest colorway. And I think the Ripleys have been out for about 2 or 3 years. I just got around to reviewing one of these things. I was like, you know what, that looks like an interesting watch. That's why I wanted to review it. So you can head on over to Amazon and pick one up. I got this one for about $160, but it looks like they've gone back up to $200. They're also $200 on Nixon's website. So, pick it up on Nixon, pick it up on Amazon, whatever you'd like to do. And guys, that's really about it, for this one. I'd love to know your thoughts on this thing. What do you think of Nixon watches in general? I don't think they're trying to be like a G-Shock alternative or anything like that. I really don't, because they've got a ton of just, fashion watches and things like this. The fact they say this is shock resistant on their website, I'm like, is it really? I mean, it might be, but obviously it's not going to be as shock resistant as a G-Shock. But I think it's a fantastic looking watch, man. I really do. I wish it would fit me. Being a 23 millimeter strap, these are going to be a little bit harder to find. Not a big deal, but maybe you might want to slide this on a NATO strap, possibly. It is kind of thick, so it will take a little bit of getting used to, a little bit of wearing in. And man, unfortunately, again, that keeper with that little notch out there, and then the end of the strap here, I can definitely see where this is a pain in the butt to get on and off sometimes. Especially if you just want to, get your watch off quickly and go about your business and do what you got to do. That's going to be one of those things that, might be kind of a pain in the butt to do. But again, guys, head on over to Amazon if you like this thing. Again, there are 5 other colorways besides this one. So, the silver one looks really good too, by the way. So make sure you check that out. I'll make sure to put a link in the description field for you so you can head on over to Amazon and pick yourself up one for $200. They might go up in price. They might go a little down in price. Watches are kind of like the stock market, man. They're kind of like orange juice and other futures. They really do fluctuate. And as always, make sure you like and subscribe and click that notification bell if you like my content. I really appreciate it when you do that. And guys, that's really been about it for this one. I've got some stuff coming from Switzerland. I have got some stuff coming from Japan. Really cool watches coming. I think you're gonna like them a lot. And until then, I will see you on the next review. Take care. Bye-bye.